In this video, we're taking a look at GoCollect's hottest comics for the week of August 12th. We got Bronze Age Marvel across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we're taking a look at GoCollect's hottest comics for the week of August 12th. Now, for those who don't know, GoCollect puts out a weekly article that analyzes the hottest selling comic books based on movement and eBay sales data. And like I like to do on Mondays, let's take a look at the list and see what's trending in the market. But before I get into the books, if you guys could drop me a like or comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, do one of those things, and I would appreciate it. All right, with that being said, let's get right into it here. And of course, this article is written by Matt Tuck. I will put a link in the description if you guys would like to do further reading, but I will give you my analysis here. And the title of this article is Hottest Comics for 8/12 from Miss Marvel to Howard the Duck. And, you know, I like to start here at the bottom so we can work our way up and kind of build suspense to the #1 book. But the #5 book is actually going to be Howard the Duck, #1, up 974 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is the first solo series featuring everybody's favorite anthropomorphic duck, Howard the Duck. And of course, what do you got to say about this book? Of course, Howard the Duck made his first appearance in one of the Man-Thing Adventures into Fear back in the 1970s. And here in 1976, written by Steve Gerber and drawn by Frank Bruner, they would release the Howard the Duck solo series. And Howard the Duck is a really kind of enigmatic character. I mean, you know, he had his appearance in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He had that weird kind of quirky 80s movie. And there's been a lot of speculation that, you know, maybe Howard the Duck could be, you know, a bigger character with regards to the MCU. So a lot of people have been kind of low-key specking on Howard the Duck. Now, Howard's cameo was, of course, voiced by Seth Green, who has made mention that he is going to reprise his role in a What If episode. So we know that What If is going to have an episode featuring Howard the Duck. And interestingly, Leah Thompson, who, of course, was the mom in the Back to the Future franchise, who was an actress in the Howard the Duck 80s movie, had made mention that she wanted to do something again with the series, but kind of like the Kevin Smith rumors, Marvel told her that there are actually plans for Howard the Duck. So really interesting to think what they might do with this character. I mean, I think with the success of Rocket Raccoon, you know, having these kind of random, quirky, anthropomorphic characters goes to show that it's actually possible to make them fan favorites. And I feel like everybody wants to like Howard the Duck for the most part. So this is a very, very cool one. And, you know, for that reason, you know, all of the Howard Duck books are slowly starting to heat up. And this one right here makes a lot of sense as to why a collector would want to get their hands on it. I mean, it is the first time you see Howard the Duck in the title. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you see Howard Duck on the cover. So that makes this book really special as a collector book for the Howard the Duck character. And as we dig into the numbers here, we'll see that there are 9.8s selling fair market value around the $700 range. And then here at the bottom, of course, you know, this is a 1976 book. You're not going to see a slab too often here at the low range. But typically when I go onto eBay looking for this book, you can find copies around the $30 or $40 range or so, you know, kind of around the low grade. All right, let's go on now to the next book here. And the next book on the list is actually going to be Tomb of Dracula, #10, up 976 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, you guys know this is the first appearance of Blade. Now, of course, this is a book that has gotten extremely hot over the last couple years or so because it was announced that Mayana Hershey Ali is going to be playing Blade in an upcoming Disney Plus show. Of course, Blade was famously put on the map by Wesley Snipes in that franchise that, you know, launched in the late 90s. And, you know, it's about time, I think, that we get another Blade kind of into the pop culture sphere. Now, this book right here, Tomb of Dracula #10, is written by Marv Wolfman and drawn by Gil Kane, came out in 1973, and this would be the first appearance of this character. And Blade is a really cool character. I mean, I feel like, you know, he's one of those characters that has kind of dipped in and out of like the Marvel universe as far as like how relevant is this character to sort of the superhero mythos. And I think like over the last few years or so, they've really started to bring, you know, the Blade character into the fold heavily, like having him involved in these, you know, crossover events and having him involved with the other superheroes in the fold. And I think, you know, we can see that Disney's really making a push for this character by the fact that they're giving him a TV show. So this book has gotten extremely hot. I mean, all the monster horror books that came out in the 70s, you know, Werewolf by Night, Morbius, Tomb of Dracula 10, all of these books have gotten extremely hot, and this one for sure is no exception. Now, it's a little interesting to think about it showing up on the list right here, but perhaps, you know, this is just sort of the peaks and valleys of the spikes. You know, a lot of people buy this book, then, you know, the people that want it don't have it, and then there's a little bit of a lull, and then everyone jumps on the book again once the prices have settled, and it looks like this week they have settled, and people are jumping on this book once again. And as we dig into the numbers here, we'll see 9.8 selling fair market value around the $22,000 range, last sale back in June, and then down here at the bottom, Go Collect has this around the $400, $500 range or so. But typically speaking, when I go into eBay, like even, low grade copies of this thing are typically selling around the $600, $700, $800 range, depending on the deal you can find for yourself. All right, let's go on now to the next book here. The next book is an interesting one because this one is not very well known. Now, this is Conan the Barbarian, number 21, up 978 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, there isn't a significant piece of info about this particular issue, although the issue itself would tell you that it's the winner of the comic book industry's own Academy Award for Best Comic Mag. So maybe, there's people who are comic book Academy Award fans or comic mag fans that really want this book. But regardless, Conan the Barbarian is a character that has been kind of heating up recently. Of course, they kind of brought Conan back into the Marvel fold. He's, a part of the Savage Avengers, and there's been a lot of talk, that there's going to be eventually a Netflix show about Conan the Barbarian. This has been kind of rumored about and talked about in the, movie news sphere for a very long time. So a lot of people, I think, slowly, like the cultural zeitgeist is kind of rallying behind the Conan the Barbarian character. And I know that there's a lot of people who are big fans of this character. Now, this book right here, Conan the Barbarian, number 21, written in 1972 by Roy Thomas and drawn by Barry Windsor Smith. Now, this is a book, of course, again, like I mentioned, doesn't really have any specific notable reason as to why it's like a key issue. But as everyone wants to get their Conan books, if they find this book at a good deal and they want to pick up a slab copy and create a lot of like movement in the market, of course, that's one of the reasons why this book will show up on that list. So I think people just wanting to get their hands on Conan books in general, and maybe this was one that, nobody had been buying, and then everyone was like, hey, this is such a great price, let me swoop it up. And as we dig into the numbers, we'll see that there are 9.8 selling fair market value, around $1,400. Of course, the last sale hasn't been since May of 2019, but you can see there's been tons of sales at the other near mint ranges, 9.6 sale in August, 9.4 sale in August, and 9.2 sale in June and July. So a lot of people kind of going after this book recently here. And then down here at the bottom, of course, again, for a 1972 book, you're not going to see too many slabs down at the bottom, but typically speaking, when I go into eBay, you can find this book around the $20, $30 range or so. All right, let's go on out to the next book here. And the next book is a really cool one. This is one that I've always been kind of a big fan of personally. This is Marvel Spotlight number 32, up 986 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is the first appearance of Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. Now, this is a book that came out in 1977, written by Archie Goodwin and drawn by Gil Kane. And this is a really cool book. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation that we are eventually going to see a Spider-Woman character, make her way onto the silver screen in some kind. Now, there's actually two rumors that have been kind of circulating the movie news sphere. Number one being Olivia Wilde has talked about wanting to direct a project about a Spider Universe character, which led a lot of people thinking that we might see Spider-Woman in that role. Of course, there's also people thinking we might see a Silk property. Additionally, it's been confirmed that Issa Rae is actually going to be playing Spider-Woman in the Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse 2 movie. She will be voicing the character. So really interesting there that, we have two different Spider-Womans that could potentially show up, and that just sounds like a Sony thing that they're going to have multiple versions of their Spider characters. Spider-Woman here, of course, Jessica Drew. I always personally thought that this was a pretty cool character. I think it would be interesting to see, like, who knows what the licensing deal is with Disney and Sony. Is Spider-Woman a character that they could bring into the MCU? Still really unclear up to this point, but still a lot of people speculating that we might see Spider-Woman represented on the screen very soon, and for that reason, a lot of people have been jumping on this book recently. And as we dig into the numbers here, we'll see that there are 9.8 selling fair market value around the $3,800 range. And then down here at the bottom, again, not a book you're going to see slapped at the 1.0, 2.0 grade, but this is still a pretty pricey book overall. I mean, this is a book that, even at the lowest end, I see selling on eBay around the $120 to $150 range or so. Which leads us to the hottest comic of the week, which is actually going to be Miss Marvel number 1, up 988 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this is the first appearance of Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel. Now, this is a book that came out in 1977, written by Gary Conway and drawn by John Romita Sr. And this is a really cool book. One of those books that I feel like has been very undervalued in the market for a long time. Now, I think that could be because, not a lot of people loved the Captain Marvel movie. I mean, say what you will about it. It was a mixed reviews amongst the fan base. Also, the fact that we've had Miss Marvel kind of morphed into Captain Marvel. So for a lot of people, it kind of dilutes like which character is the actual actual first appearance that you want to get your hands on. But this one right here feels like this is the true first appearance of Miss Marvel, even in comparison to, her 1968 appearance with Captain Marvel, where it was the first appearance of Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel #2. And for me, it feels like this book has been truly undervalued in the market for quite some time. Of course, we have Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel in the MCU, and it has been announced that we are going to be getting The Marvels, which effectively is the Captain Marvel 2 movie. So a lot of people, kind of starting to get their hands on these Miss Marvel keys. But regardless, 1977's Miss Marvel #1 is the hottest comic of the week. And as we dig into the numbers here, we'll see that there are 9.8 selling fair market value around the $1,450 range. And then down here at the bottom, again, not a book that you're going to see slabbed at the low grade, but typically speaking, I can find copies of this book around the $60, $70, $80 range or so. Well, that is all I have for this video. Those are the hottest comics for the week of August 12th for Go Collect. Let me know what you guys think about that Miss Marvel one. I feel like that one should be the go-to book when it comes to fans of whether, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, whatever you want to call her. Feels like that should be the money book overall. Although a lot of people kind of flock to that Marvel Superheroes number 13, I believe it is, first appearance of Carol Danvers. But it doesn't feel like, we as collectors often value character first appearances rather than first superhero appearances. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you in the next video.